And good morning, everyone. We're going to go live here, or we are going live, but we're going to go live on 580 WIBW for the Ag Issues program coming up here in just a bit. And we're going to be, as you see here, set by Rick McNary. So stand by here for just a second as we're going to go live on 580 WIBW. Good morning, everyone. Glad to have you with us here on the Ag Issues program on 580 WIBW. And joining us here in just a bit, and by the way, we are going live on StreamYard through our Facebook page and our YouTube page as well. Just go to WIBW News Now, both on our Facebook and our YouTube page if you want to see this live. Here in just a bit, we're going to be joined by Rick McNary, who is the creator of the Shop Kansas Farms Group, and also joined here in just a second by Meagan Cramer, Communications Director with Kansas Farm Bureau. We're going to talk about the recent announcement that Shop Kansas Farms was purchased by Kansas Farm Bureau and what that means as well. And that'll be coming up on this morning's Ag Issues program here on 580 WIBW. But before we do that, let's get a check of the weather. Okay. So everybody in Facebook land, we are doing the weather on 580 WIBW. And we are now joined by Meagan Cramer with Kansas Farm Bureau and Rick McNary. And we will go live here in just a bit. So you're hearing some additional crosstalk of what we do behind the scenes. Sometimes it's crazy, sometimes it's not. In this case, we're pretty chill right at the moment. So we'll get going here in just a bit, talking about Shop Kansas Farms. So just bear with us here as we're doing the weather live on 580 WIBW. It's always fun with the addition of social media and the ability like this to do a program live on our Facebook page and also our YouTube page that kind of have the talk in between. So in this ear right now, I'm hearing the programming. And in this ears, we're all here, Rick and Meagan. And hopefully the two shall not meet in the middle, so to speak, because it's always fun when you're hearing two of the same audio sources sometimes, and they're in delayed audio. So we will get going here in just a second, so please bear with us. And then we will start talking about what we are. It's about Shop Kansas Farms. So we're just about ready to go to start the program, and we'll get going here in just a second. So stand by. All right, here in the capital city, we have a cloudy sky, 68 degrees at Bullitt Airport, and cloudy 65 degrees this morning at Forbes Field. And we do have some showers in the eastern part of the state, and they have been moving to the northeast. Just some light showers. Southeast Kansas, it's a little bit better as far as moisture is concerned. And right now, any moisture is a good thing. So we'll see how that will go as far as moisture is concerned. On this morning's Ag Issues program and also on our Facebook page and our YouTube page this morning, we're talking about Shop Kansas Farms. And joining us on the program this morning is Rick McNary, who is the creator of the Shop Kansas Farm Group. As he joins us this morning, Rick, good morning.
Good morning, Greg. Thanks for having us.
And also joining us on the program, Meagan Cramer, Communications Director with Kansas Farm Bureau, and she has also been one of the administrators of the Shop Kansas Farm Group since the very beginning as well. Meagan, good morning.
Good morning, Greg.
Well, let's talk about the recent announcement that Kansas Farm Bureau has purchased the Shop Kansas Farms Group. And Rick, since you're the creator, I'm going to start with you. Give us a little backstory that, you've had help from many people, Meagan included, but the reasoning behind this transaction that took place.
When I started Shop Kansas Farms, the Facebook group, on April 28th, 2020, in the middle of the pandemic, I had no idea that it would explode. In fact, I was on the radio with you a week later when we hit 50,000 members, and you were the one that announced that. And now we're at 159,000 members, and there's continued growth. Along the way, people were asking for a map so they could find the farms, and Facebook and Google don't play well together. So I knew it took an investment, and my wife and I made a decision to form Shop Kansas Farms LLC and invest our own money into a website with a searchable map and directory. By the way, you can find that map and find the farmers near you at shopkansasfarms.com/map. There's more than 1,150 farms listed on there now that sell direct to consumers. So it continued to grow, and I have learned in all of my writing and interviews about farmers the last several years, writing for Kansas Living and Kansas Farm Bureau, that being a wise steward is an important thing. And as I watched Shop Kansas Farms grow and saw its potential, I knew I couldn't do it by myself anymore. I needed the resources. And yes, we had great admins who volunteered their time, like Meagan from day one, and Nancy Brown with Kansas Farm Bureau too. But it took more, and it needed more people and more reach. And so I approached the Kansas Farm Bureau, Terry Holdren and Meagan. They were surprised that I was willing to offer it, and only to them because of my wonderful relationship with them. But Shop Kansas Farms needed the help for it to truly, my vision is for it to be a national household word. So people in New York City will shop Kansas Farms.
So that's a perfect segue over to you, Meagan. And with the discussion that Rick obviously came to your CEO, Terry Holdren, about, you've been there since the beginning, so you know the ins and outs of the Shop Kansas Farms site. What was the thinking, other than like surprise, as Rick mentioned, of why in the end Kansas Farm Bureau purchased the Shop Kansas Farms?
Yeah, that's a great question. So when Rick came to us, we thought, wow, this is an opportunity. And we thought that for a variety of reasons. So first of all, we know what a resource it is to consumers and for farmers and ranchers. So we thought if we can continue to build off that resource, it's great for our farmers and ranchers to tell the story of agriculture, and then obviously for consumers to connect directly to farmers and ranchers and learn what happens on agriculture on Kansas farms and ranches. The other thing is Rick has very many passions, but one of the things he's passionate about is helping rural communities find ways to grow and thrive. And one of the things that he's working on is creating rural food systems or regional food systems, sorry. And so, that's a perfect segue into what we do for rural communities, helping them find ways for farmers and ranchers to either get into the business, expand, diversify, but then helping rural communities figure out how they can continue to stay where they are and maybe even grow a little bit. So when Rick started working on that, we thought, wow, that makes a lot of sense for us to join Rick. It's really a partnership with Rick to continue to grow Shop Kansas Farms, but then also work with him on these regional food systems. So there are a lot of positives, and we think together we can do some really great work.
So that leads us to the next steps as far as where this is going to go. Rick, Meagan mentioned some of the things you like to do and you have been passionate about. So how do you see, or what is going to be your role now with regards to Shop Kansas Farms?
Helping to create local and regional food systems. And as you know, a food system is broken down into production, and then processing and distribution. And in a lot of local areas, people can grow things, plants and animals, but the production or the processing component is a challenge. Small meat lockers, were drifting away until COVID hit, and now they're surging back up, and there's no ability for processing, of a lot of plants or vegetables or fruits or things like that on a local level. So helping communities think about their own system and building that out. So that's what I'm going to be helping build that model out. But also another couple of components are, the website is really a digital hub, and Shop Kansas Farms from the very beginning is a digital hub really to a regional food system. If you think about production, processing, and distribution, and you scroll through the Facebook group, you see all of those things happening. And so that building that out as a connecting link and helping with a national reach with that, with the website, and providing some, consulting on that. And then also, we've got an extravaganza, another one coming up on November the 12th in Manhattan. The first one we held in March back in Lyons, Kansas, a town of 3,700 people. And on one day, we had 45 or 42 vendors, and they were there to sell. The farmers were there to sell their meat and their produce and things. And we had more than 1,400 people arrive. And they came to purchase, came to buy, not to browse, as one farmer said. So it's a unique way, again, for customers and consumers and farmers to meet. And we'll be building that out as well.
And Meagan, in the 2.5 years, if I got my math right, as far as the site, the Facebook group has been in place, the growth, the website as well. This, during the pandemic, really was an avenue. Okay, who would ever thought this would have grown to where it was? But nonetheless, you saw there was a need to be able to have something like this.
Yeah, definitely. It was like a perfect storm. And this was one of the positive things that came out of COVID. And one of the things, like Rick said, we're going to work on building out that website, because we all know that Facebook doesn't play well with anybody usually. And selling animal products is something they don't really like. And somehow we've stayed under the radar so far. So we're going to really work on the website, get it built out so that people can really do the stuff that's happening on the Facebook group over on the Shop Kansas Farms website, so that if something were to ever happen to Facebook and something happened to our group, we wouldn't lose all those connections. So that's something that we're really going to start working really hard on, and just kind of moving that stuff over so that those connections can continue even if Facebook goes away or something changes with Facebook.
Okay, we're going to take a break on 580 WIBW. So when we come back, we're going to talk with Rick McNary, who is the creator of the Shop Kansas Farm Group, and Meagan Cramer, Director of Communications with Kansas Farm Bureau, on this edition of the Ag Issues program here on 580 WIBW. Okay, for those watching live on Facebook and or our YouTube page, we're in a commercial break, and we're going to do a live read here. And so stand by. Once we get out of the commercial break, we'll update you on that here in just a second. So just stand by here while we get some commercials out of the way. 10-4, Steve. The Emporia Livestock Sale Company in Emporia, Kansas, where buyers and sellers come to meet. Their weekly cattle sale gets underway tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock. As far as some of the early consignments are concerned for tomorrow's sale, 110 mostly black steers and heifers weighing 400 to 600 pounds, 111 black steers and heifers, Hinkson and Dale Banks Influence, 4.5 to 700 pounds, 15 black steers and heifers, 30 days wean, 5 to 800 pounds, 19 black steers and heifers, Houck Influence, 2 rounds of shots, 5.5 to 650, 25 mixed steers and heifers, long time wean, 2 rounds of shots, 625 to 675, 24 black white face heifers, long time wean, 2 rounds of shots, no implants, with a lean genetics, 7 to 800 pounds, 80 mixed heifers, 725 to 775, 67 mostly black heifers, 775 to 8 1/4, 61 black and black white face heifers, northern origin, 850 to 900 pounds. Now, if you'd like more information or like to add consignments, give them a call, 620-342-2425, or go to their website at emporialivestock.com, or follow them on their Facebook page, facebook.com. Just type in Emporia Livestock. That's the Emporia Livestock Sale Company in Emporia, Kansas, where buyers and sellers come to meet. Their weekly cattle sale gets underway tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock. Okay, for those on our Facebook group, we are in doing more commercials here. We'll come back here in just a second to talk more with our guest, Rick McNary, and also Meagan Cramer. So please stay with us. Thank you for being with us, by the way, as well. Always fun to be able to do a program this way, because what StreamYard will allow us to do is, I think, and we've never done this because it would be crazy, but I think we can do up to 15 guests on there. I'm not sure my brain could process that if I had 15 people on here. I'm just imagining it'd be like the Brady Bunch opening of the Brady Bunch show, where you've got the 9, that's 9.
Yeah.
Let alone if you had more than that. So,
and with something else in your other ear. Yeah, I couldn't do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Couldn't do it.
All right. So folks, stand by, and we'll get going back with the last portion of the program here in just 1 second. By the way, once again, that's the website for all of you who are watching, not only with the Facebook group, but they also have their website, shopkansasfarms.com, if you want more information. Okay, here we go, folks. We're going to go live back on 580 WRU. All right, we are back on the Ag Issues program this morning here on 580 WIBW. And we're also going live on our Facebook page and our YouTube page. Just go to WIBW News now to watch that. We're joined by Rick McNary, the creator of the Shop Kansas Farms group, and also Meagan Cramer, Director of Communications with Kansas Farm Bureau. She has been one of the administrators of the Shop Kansas Farms Facebook page and also website as well. And now it's the recent announcement that Kansas Farm Bureau recently has purchased Shop Kansas Farms. And we're now talking about the future of what the Shop Kansas Farms group will be like. Rick, in this 2.5 years during the pandemic, and, you talked about the extravaganza that took place in Lyons. I'm sure people have come up to you personally to talk about, from the business perspective of those who participate in the Shop Kansas Farms site, what that has meant to them as far as having an avenue to sell the product that they raise.
That's a great point, Greg, because for many who were trying to reach consumers, they were having to do it by themselves and figure out marketing strategies and social media strategies. And with the emergence of Shop Kansas Farms, the Facebook group and the platform, and then the website, it gave them an entirely new advertising and marketing platform. And the beauty of it was people were talking back to them as they put their product out there, whatever it was. Consumers were asking them questions and making comments and seeking clarification. So it was really an unusual way for sellers and buyers to have a transaction that brought a lot of education with it.
Meagan, we just mentioned the extravaganza that took place earlier in the year in Lyons, but Rick had mentioned there is one coming up next month that's going to take place in Manhattan, I think at your guys' headquarters.
That's right. It will be November 12th at Manhattan, and we are partnering with the Save Farm, which helps veterans get into farming and ranching. So we're super excited because it's actually the day after Veterans Day. And we have some folks that are veterans that will have booths there. I think we've already got a load of vendors. I couldn't think of a number off the top of my head, but if you go to shopkansasfarms.com, we have a list of vendors already out there selling honey and beef. What else, Rick? I mean, just a lot of stuff out there.
Somebody's bringing a bunch of turkeys,
which will be good for Thanksgiving.
right?
Yeah. So it's at the Farm Bureau building. It's $5 to get in, but children under 16 get in free, or any veterans get in free as well. And we still have booth space available as well. So if anybody's looking to join as a vendor, go to shopkansasfarms.com, and all the information is out there as well.
And I was just looking at that, and some of the workshops that you have. Chad Gilliland, the owner and operator of Next to Nature Farm, talking about sustainable agriculture with Todd Bunting. Couple of other ones. Aaron Petersilly with Kansas Farm Bureau talking about KFB health plans, and also from the Land of Kansas program creator Sammy Gleason talking about growing Kansas farm as well. So really all topics associated with this group that would be coming in associated with Shop Kansas Farms and those who are involved with Shop Kansas Farms.
Yeah, we used what Rick had done before, and he told us which ones worked really well. Like, you'll notice that Chad Gilliland's, we're actually doing it twice because it was about raising bees, and it was very, very well attended. So that will be there twice. We also have one on canning because that was well received as well. And we're still actually flushing those out. So if people go back to the website, they'll continue to see those workshops being added. So lots more to come.
Rick, as we get to the end of the program here, and we talked about some of the, what some of the comments have been made to you by those who participate. You've got more favorite stories to come, I'm sure. But do you have a favorite story of what you've heard from someone, not only who sell the product, or maybe who have bought the product of one of those who are participated in Shop Kansas Farms?
Well, from the consumer side, one of the best comments was a lady that was writing as if she was communicating to the farmers and said, we don't live off the land like you do. We live off the store shelves. And when those shelves were empty, it struck a new type of fear in our hearts that we had never experienced before. And yet you came to our rescue. We found you and found we could purchase food directly from you. So that to me is one of the best stories because it combines both. The farmers were, I wrote an op-ed for Sarah Wyatt in AgriPulse called Kansas Farmers Calm Public Fears, because the initial surge were people that were fearful because the store shelves were empty. And so farmers came to the rescue, and farmers have been doing it all along. And it's just the consumers found. And for me, the best part is consumers have found and fallen in love with Kansas farmers like I have. From the farming standpoint, I have numerous stories of people saying our farm operated in the black that year, and we thought we were going to go down in the red. You helped save, or Shop Kansas Farms helped save our farm that year. That to me is, you just can't beat that.
And Megan, this is not to embarrass Rick, but we want to remind people, Rick is not a farmer.
That's right.
Oh, by the way.
That's right. We're really lucky to have Rick as not only a member of Kansas Farm Bureau, but somebody who's very passionate about what farmers and ranchers do, can tell that story, obviously, and has enough passion and drive to do something like this. We told him, when it was getting going and it was crazy, we're like, Rick, if it was us, we would have pulled the plug on this a long time ago. So he's very driven, and we are all very thankful for Rick.
And then here you guys are, owning Shop Kansas Farms now.
Yeah, it's going to be a great partnership. There's lots of good things that are going to happen from this.
Well, Rick and Megan, I appreciate you coming on to the program today, because there are only bigger and brighter things for Shop Kansas Farms in the future. And Rick, a lot of people have you to thank for being the brainchild of this and getting to 159,000 followers on the Facebook page, many more on the website as well. So Rick McNary, Meagan Cramer, as always, an absolute pleasure. And I'm sure we'll get together again to talk shop about Shop Kansas Farms and the next steps that'll take place as well.
Thank you, Greg.
Thanks, Greg.
This has been Ag Issues here on 580 WIBW. Stay with us when we come back. We'll get an update on the news headlines, and we'll check the weather forecast that comes up next. Okay, folks, stand by here. I got one live read to do, and then we will end the program here in just a bit. Kind of add on a little bonus here. Always have 3 live reads that we do normally on Tuesdays. So just stand by for just a second. We'll get back with you here. Rezac Livestock Commission Company in St. Mary's, Kansas will be holding their weekly cattle sale. It gets underway later this morning at 10:30. Early consignments for today's sale include 42 black steers and heifers that are vaccinated, 5 to 600 pounds, 30 black steers and heifers that are vaccinated, 4.5 to 550, 40 black steers and heifers that are vaccinated, 5 to 6, 80 Angus steers, 750 to 825. They're home raised long wean, vaccinated, no implants. 60 Simmental Angus steers, home raised, long weaned and vaccinated, 7.5 to 850. 40 black red steers, weaned and vaccinated, 650 to 750. 26 black heifers, weaned and vaccinated, 650 to 675. 150 black heifers, 725 to 775. Was many more consignments expected. If you'd like more information, you can give them a call at the sale barn, 785-437-2785, or for a full list of consignments, go to their website at rezaclivestock.com. Rezac Livestock Commission Company, St. Mary's, Kansas. Their weekly cattle sale gets underway later this morning at 10:30. Okay, folks, we're going to end the broadcast here. Rick and Meagan stand by, and we appreciate you all joining us today.
Thank you.